Just let yourself land in Sukhasana, or easy seat. And let your hands go wherever they feel most comfortable. And it might be kind of nice to start by just kind of running your hands over the shins, the knees, the thighs, just giving yourself that soothing touch. And then just finding where it's most comfortable to let them rest. Palms up or palms down. You can see what feels better to you today. Palms down for more grounding, palms up for more receiving. And then just bring your attention to the subtle sound and feeling of your breath moving in through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Take a few more cleansing breaths for yourself, in through the nose, out through the mouth. You might let out a little sound. And on these next couple of breaths, bring just a little movement into your body in a way that will help you find more space between your seat and the top of your head. Between the shoulders, in the face, the jaw. And then bring the tip of your tongue to the top of your mouth and take the next few breaths in and out through the nose, transitioning into your yogic breath. The tongue at the tip of the tongue at the top of the mouth is a tongue twister, but there's a few other benefits to that. One of which is it helps you breathe in and out through the nose, helps you come into that yogic breath. And there's also a point at the top of your mouth where the energy that moves around the front of your body and the back of your body meets. And so it's helping connect the central energy. Take a moment here to just notice how you feel. First, in your physical body, how it feels in the space that you're in, the temperature on your skin, the clothes that you're wearing, any smells or other sensations that you can notice here. Notice if there's any strong sensation moving a little further in the body, in the joints, in the bones, in the muscles, tendons, even as far as the organs. And then move your attention to the mental, emotional body and just notice how you're feeling in terms of worry or love, anxiety or joy, anger or assertiveness, fear or courage, the inability or ability to let go. Are you holding on to anything? Just becoming aware, turning your attention inwards so that you have this starting point, this really grounded starting point for your practice this evening. Even though I'll guide us all through the same sequence of postures and breath, your practice is unique, as it always is. And as I always encourage you to do, please make it your own. Add on if you feel inspired to add on. Slow it down if that's what your body's asking for. Totally skip out of something if you know that it just doesn't feel right to you today. And by doing so, hopefully feeling more and more empowered in your body and in your practice, on and off of your mat, throughout really all of your life. You always have this freedom to do what you need to do. And I believe that we all benefit when we listen to that voice within. Let's bring the hands together in Anjali Mudra. You can rest the thumbs on the chest and just a little bow through your chin. Take a moment now to set an intention for your practice, just a single word or a short phrase that will inspire you or that will guide you through this evening. If nothing seems to come to mind, and a really beautiful one to land on is gratitude. See all the ways in which you can be grateful in this practice tonight. And then take a nice deep breath. And as you exhale, breathe out through the mouth, releasing the expectation of how this will show up, this intention. Breathing in the intention and out with the expectations. Take one more cleansing breath here. And we'll begin to move. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead. You can bat the eyes open here and take a big stretch. Keep your hands a little apart. Imagine you're holding onto a ball or a brick between the hands. Take another breath at the top. And then bring the palms together. Gently press into the hands and draw the hands right down to center, pressing into the palms, elbows wide, shoulders drop away from the ears. And do that again. Inhale, release, arms come up to the sky. Bring the palms to touch, press them together. Keep pressing as you bring the hands down to center. And one more time. Inhale, come up. And exhale, press them together, drawing down, down, down to center. And release at the bottom. Bring your arms overhead and then interlace the fingers behind the head. We're going to find this posture a few times through our practice today. We're actually going to weave it into our sun salutes and vinyasas. So I want you to find an engagement in your core here. You're going to find it later when we stand as well, but we're going to start a little bit lower to the ground here. So you can feel the belly drawing in, right? Press your head into your hands into your head. But in order to keep that balance, the center starts to engage. You might even feel your legs start to engage. Keep those elbows nice and wide and cycle your breath. And then take one more breath in. Exhale and twist to the left. Only go as far as you can go with the elbows still pointing out to the sides. And on your next breath in, come through center. And exhale, twist the other way. Pointing the elbows in opposite directions. Keep opening through the chest and the back as you breathe. Try to keep the knees relaxed and engage through the core. On your inhale, come back to center. And then exhale, release your arms out to a T and just reach out as far as you can. You can open your palms, take a little back bend. And then exhale, round your arms like you're holding onto a big tree trunk. Tuck your chin and round your spine. Inhale, open up nice and wide. Exhale, hug around a tree, almost like a cow-cat kind of movement. Do that one more time, opening up. And exhale, hugging around. Open up to a T, inhale, and then just flip your palms a few times. You can spiral them all the way around. Of course, that movement's not just happening in your palms. Feel that rotation move all the way up through your shoulders. And then the next time your arms are turned up, inhale, sweep the arms overhead, and exhale, come right down through center, forward fold. Walk your arms out in front of you and let the head bow. Chin comes gently in towards the chest, just feeling the neck get nice and long. And breathe into your back body here. Imagine that your breath is shining a light on your back.
Just brightening up that whole back body.
And walk your hands back to your shins. Switch the shin that is in front to the back. Reestablish your seat. And then we'll take one more forward fold. Reach your arms up. And exhale, folding down through center. Your arms are your support here. You might find a little organic movement. Soften behind the eyes. Let the cheeks feel the force of gravity, right? The lips coming away from the teeth. The tongue is relaxed. The back of the neck is long. There's space right where your neck meets the head. And walk your hands back to the shins. We're just going to take a really simple shoulder stretch here. Bring one arm across the front and hook it with your elbow. Just take a few breaths in and out through the nose, full and complete. Start to become really conscious of your breath as you move through this practice. And then switch sides. I think we've all heard the phrase, energy flows where attention goes, right? So when you feel that sensation, that stretch, directing your attention, your breath, and therefore your energy to any areas that might be a little stuck or stagnant or even feeling a little pain today, which is really just stuck energy. And then open it back up. You can shake out the arms, shake out the hands, and we'll come into tabletop. So either roll over your shins or swing the legs out to the side. And once you find your position here, just take the next few moments to move your spine in any way that feels good to you. We know our practices well enough. I know you guys know the practice well enough to move freely here. You could, of course, find that traditional cow-cat, but there's many other ways to play, and I invite you to do just that, to really feel it out. Just let your breath and the sensations that your body is sending you to move, to explore, and invite a sense of fluidity all through your body. If your wrists have been feeling a little tender, this is also a good opportunity to maybe take a wrist stretch, turning the tops of the hands down. No sense of rush as you move. We want this practice to help drop us into that parasympathetic state where the body can heal and rest and digest not only our food, of course, but also our experiences, the emotional experiences that we've had through our days, through our life. And then come into center again. So just complete your next few movements and come back into a tabletop. And sit back then into child's pose. You can spread the knees just a little wider, big toes touch. Extend the arms fully and rest the head on the mat. Feel the little grip under your fingertips so that you have a lot of space from your hips to your fingers. And then breathe into that length. Where do you feel the breath go here? Turn your attention to the ebb and flow of your breath coming in and leaving, of the body expanding, stretching, and softening, relaxing. On your inhale, come forward into tabletop. Bring your knees back under your hips. And then extend your left foot back. Keep the toes on the ground and rock a little forward backwards. Make sure your hands are grounded, that you're not rolling onto the pinkies or the thumbs, but distributing all that weight. Then pause that movement, lift your left heel and step over your right foot. So you should step off the side of your mat, taking like a side stretch here, and then move again, pressing out through that left heel. Now, as you come back to center, hover the left foot in line with the hip. So bring it back, square off the hips, feel your belly engage and press into your hands. Gaze is down at the mat. Extend your right arm. Stabilize, pressing strongly through the left arm. Take one more breath in. On your exhale, draw the knee underneath of you and hold onto the shin. Lift the thigh up towards the belly, kind of like a cat shape, and hold it here, cycling your breath, challenging your balance. And release, come into tabletop. Now, if you found that your knees were tender, you could double up your mat on this other side so you have more cushion, or if you have a blanket, this is a really good place to put a blanket under your knees. So let's go to the other side, sending the right toes back. Rock a little forward, backwards. And then lift up the right heel. Make sure your head's in line with your spine here. Step over the left leg and then rocking a little through that right foot, pressing out through the heel. Come back through center, hovering the right foot in line with the hip. Press into your arms, draw up through your center. Extend the left arm. Focus. Breathing in. Breathe out. Draw the knee underneath. Hold onto the shin. Lift up towards your chest and breathe here. And release. Wag your tail like your favorite puppy. Take a nice deep breath. And then we're going to actually come into puppy pose. So you can lower down onto your elbows. The hips stay over the knees. As the first option for the pose, you could cross your forearms and rest your head on the back of the forearms. This is a great place to be. It lets your heart melt. The shoulders can start to open without being too intense. If you feel like you have more space to move a little bit deeper into this heart-opening posture, you can extend the arms, one or both of them, letting the head come down to the mat. And if you're feeling really open in the upper back and shoulders today, maybe you bring the chin to the mat. Please don't strain. Go to where you can breathe comfortably. Scan your body. Make sure there's no areas that are clenching or gripping. Becoming aware of those tendencies. And then start to bring your elbows back underneath of you if the arms were extended. We're going to come all the way down to the belly into a cobra pose or into a sphinx pose. So the elbows land right under the shoulders. Point your toes back and ground into the pubic bone. Now draw your forearms back towards you as you lift up through the chest. Chest comes open. So there's a little engagement here through the arms, through the back. Now gaze over your right shoulder as you soften. Try to look at your right heel. Come through center, inhale, and look over your left shoulder. Do that one more time each way. Follow your own breath. Come through center. Lower all the way down to your belly. Head comes to the backs of the hands, crocodile pose. Rock your hips side to side. And then still that movement. Rest on your belly and just take a moment to check in. Remember your intention. Notice how you feel after just this introduction of movement and breath, and how you want to continue through the rest of your practice. Bring the hands under the shoulders, hug your elbows in, press up through tabletop. Do this like a reverse push-up. So really using your arms, engage your core, and then bring the knees back under you so you can come into your first downward dog. Tucking your toes and then peeling your hips up and start to reach down through your heels. You can pedal the legs or find any other movement that feels good to you today. And if you've had a little time since being on your mat, right? If it's been a couple of weeks since you had practiced, then just notice what it feels like to come back to it. Sometimes you actually maybe feel better after taking a rest, right? Maybe you really needed a break. And so it's a good reminder of the importance of vacation, of rest. Maybe it's like, oh man, I could have used some more yoga. I'm really glad I have this practice. And then take a walk to the front of your mat and come into a forward fold. If the ground feels far away, you could bring in your blocks here. Just take a nice fold, letting the backs of the legs open. You can find a little sway, even a rag doll holding onto the arms. Make sure that you let the head go, that you're able to shake it yes and no without any rigidity. Tuning in deeply to that yogic breath in and out through the nose. If it helps, bring the tip of the tongue to the top of the mouth again. Pause the movement, bend the knees, gaze forward, let the blood start to rebalance. Take a breath. And then come all the way up using the strength of the legs. You can let the arms float up. And exhale, coming into Tadasana. Bring the feet right underneath of the hips and the fingers drawing down. Feel the head aligning over hips, hips over heels, and we'll begin to flow. We're going to move in circles around our mat today, and that's where it might be nice to bring the blocks with you. So start at the top of your mat and inhale, sweep your arms overhead. Bring the hands behind the head as you exhale, interlacing the fingers. So here we are in that position again. Engage the legs, engage the glutes, and lift up head into hands as you open through the chest and elbows and shoulders. Cycle your breath here, squeezing the legs. Take one more breath in, and as you exhale, soften and fold all the way down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back, gazing forward. Exhale, refold and step your right foot back, lowering the right knee. Inhale, reach the arms overhead, low crescent lunge. Exhale, release the hands back down. Blocks are to the mat. Inhale, left arm comes up to a twist and circle your wrist at the top a couple of times in one direction and then switch the direction. Open up the hand, inhale, and exhale, bring it back down. Tuck your back toe, lift the knee, walk around to the long edge of your mat and come into a wide leg forward fold. So if you're using blocks, bring them with you here. Take a couple breaths. Maybe some movement in the neck again. And then walk around to the back of your mat, finding a low lunge. Drop the back knee, untuck the toe. Inhale, root into the feet, rise up with the arms. Exhale, release the hands back down. Inhale, right arm twist to the sky, circle your wrist. Switch. Inhale, open the palm. Exhale, release it back down. This time, step back into tabletop. You can move the blocks to the side. Inhale, lower the belly, look forward. Exhale, round the back like cat. Inhale, cow pose, look forward and tuck the toes. Exhale, peel the hips up, downward dog. Inhale, forward to plank pose. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or up dog, your choice. Exhale, downward dog. Breathing in, breathing out, coming into greater stillness. Step your left foot through between the hands, drop the back knee. We're going to do that same flow, moving around the mat to the front again. So we'll inhale, low crescent lunge. Exhale, release the hands down. Inhale, left arm twist. Exhale, release it down. Tuck the toe, lift the knee, walk around to the long edge of your mat, taking a wide leg forward fold, breathing in and out. Walk around to the front of the mat, low crescent lunge. Inhale, arms sweep up. Exhale, releasing down. Twist it open, right arm sweeps out and up. And exhale, out and down. Stepping back into tabletop, blocks out to the sides. One cycle of cow and cat. Smooth it out here. Inhale, cow, tuck your toes. Exhale, downward dog. Breathe forward to plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Lower all the way or halfway down. Cobra, up dog as you inhale. Exhale, downward dog. Step your right foot through between the hands. Left foot steps through, forward fold at the top of your mat. Inhale to reverse swan dive. Exhale, Tadasana. Fingers draw down, chest open, heels ground, head lifts. Let's move into our next flow. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, hands behind the head, interlace fingers. Take one more breath in, engage the legs. Exhale, release, forward fold, hands to blocks or mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. We're going to go around the mat the other way. So step your left foot back. Keep the knee lifted this time. High crescent lunge. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, hands to heart. Press into your palms. Breathe in. Exhale, lean forward. Prepare to twist. Inhale, engage the back thigh. Exhale, rotate to the right. Elbow catches left knee. Press into the palms, deepen your twist, keeping that left leg engaged. Option to open the arms. And maybe a half bind, bringing right hand behind the back. Beautiful. If you're in your bind, open the arms up. Bring the hands back down to the mat or to blocks, and then find your lizard lunge. Heel toe your right foot to the outside edge of the mat. Inhale, lower the hips just a little bit as you look forward. And then exhale, lift your hips and straighten the legs, folding down. Inhale, rebend the front knee, look forward. Exhale, press into the feet, straighten the legs, fold. One more time. Inhale, look forward, bend the knee. Exhale, straighten the legs, fold. This time, rebend the knee and then drop the left knee, low lizard lunge. You can move your hips around here. You can find circles or draw a figure 8 shape. Just bring in a little more fluidity. Then hold the pose. You can drop down onto forearms if that's available. If you have your blocks, it can give you a nice midway point if you can't quite reach down all the way to the mat. Feel your chin softening. the back of the neck, the eyes, the jaw, the cheeks. And take about 3 steady breaths, dropping in. Engaged, but calm. And then start to press back up onto the hands. If you're using blocks, take them with you. Tuck your toe, lift the knee, walk around to the long edge of your mat, wide leg forward fold. So when you come through your wide leg forward fold, the toes are pointed in just a little bit, heels just slightly out. And feel your tailbone, your sits bones lifting up as you let the crown of the head pour down like a waterfall. Can you imagine water being able to pour out your spine and the crown of the head? Walk around to the back edge of your mat, runner's lunge. Find your footing. Inhale, 1 breath to rise, crescent lunge. Hands come together, exhale to the heart, pressing palms together. Breathe in. Exhale, lean forward, engage that right quad, and twist on your next exhale. Elbow to the outside of the knee. Option to open your arms if it's available. That block can be helpful here too. If you don't quite reach the mat, that block can give you something to ground your hand on. Maybe you play with your half bind, left hand coming behind the back, opening the left shoulder. Make sure that you're able to still cycle your breath and then start to move out the same way you came in. Releasing the bind, bring the hands back down to the blocks or to the mat. Lizard lunge, bring the foot to the outside edge, both hands on the inside. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, straighten the legs, fold. Inhale, lizard lunge, look forward. Exhale, straighten the legs, fold. Once more. Low lizard lunge, rebend the front knee, lower the back knee, and untuck the toe. If you'd like, you can find some movement in the hips again here. And find a steady place to drop in. Maybe lowering down onto the forearms. Take 3 breaths for yourself. Where can you loosen the grip? If it helps, bring the tip of the tongue to the top of the mouth as you breathe. We all have habits of tension, and our practice can help us become aware of those habits, whether it's in the mind, in the body, in the breath. Maybe it's an attitude in which you approach your practice or your body. And start to lift back up onto the hands. This time we're going to continue to walk around. So we're going to tuck the back toe, lift the knee, and then walk back to the long edge of your mat. And we're going to come into a goddess pose this time. So turn your toes out, heels in. Bend into your knees a little bit here. And then lift all the way up, coming into cactus arms. The knees should be bending in the same direction as the toes. And you might find a little movement as you get settled in. And then find your sturdy, steady posture. Opening those elbows. Imagine you're holding like a big ball between your hands. Release, hands come down to blocks or to the mat. Pivot the heels out so the edges of the feet are parallel again. Wide leg forward fold. Option to bring the hands behind the back this time. Interlace the fingers and reach the arms overhead as you fold a little deeper. Yogic breaths into whatever sensation is showing up for you here, bringing some space into the shoulder girdle. Release the hands all the way back down to blocks or to the mat and find a side lunge back and forth, opening up the inseam of the legs. Now you could do this by walking your hands or blocks along the mat. If you want a little more engagement in the legs, you could bring the hands to the heart. Take your time, find your own little flow, find your own speed here, what feels good. And then the next time that you come to the front edge of your mat, go ahead and square off at the front and step back into downward facing dog. Reach the heels down. Nice strong arms. Inhale, plank pose. Exhale, chaturanga. Up dog or cobra. Downward dog. 3 breaths. Letting that inner fire burn brightly here. Every breath fanning the flames. Engage the quads, press the thighs back. Now bend the knees, gaze forward, walk, step, or float to the front of your mat, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose, sit your hips down and back, arms reach up. Hold it here as you breathe, bring that ball between the hands again, hands are energized. Good, stand all the way up, inhale. Exhale, release, raining the arms down. Take a nice cleansing breath. If it feels good, you can shake it out a little bit or roll the shoulders or the neck. Bring your arms overhead. Hold onto your left wrist and step your left foot behind the right. So the toes are actually going to point down. It might kind of feel like a dancer kind of pose or something. Toes are pointed down, and then lift up through that left wrist, and if you can, gaze up. Now try not to dump weight into the lower back here. Fully extended. And then release, come back through center and switch sides. Right foot steps back. So you're sort of stretching the front of the ankle as well. And then lifting up, hold on to the right wrist. As you reach up and over, the gaze can come up. And we'll do that one more time each way. This time just flow with your breath. One breath as you inhale, left foot back, left arm up and over. Exhale, come through center. Switch, inhale. And exhale. Bring the hands to heart center, thumbs on the chest. As you breathe, try to sense the air along the fingertips. A grounding and centering breath. Feel the weight transferring into your left leg. And then bring the right knee up into your chest and find a steady point to rest your gaze. Just holding it here. Now from here, we're going to step back into a lunge pose. So you can release the leg and move with control here, almost like you're coming through a warrior three, kind of hovering, and then land the toes and inhale, reach your arms overhead. Exhale, hands come down to blocks or to the mat. Pyramid pose as you hop that back foot just a little bit forward so you can ground the back heel and square off the hips. So it might help to turn the blocks up here. You can lengthen your spine forward, the left hip gently drawing back. And then taking the next few breaths to fold forehead towards the shin. Think of that waterfall through the spine. Strong quads lifting up. You can feel the arches of your feet lifting. The shoulders and head relaxing. Now bend your front knee. Start to look forward. Walk your blocks about a foot in front of your toes. And hover your back foot in a modified warrior three. Inner thighs magnetize towards one another. The back foot is flexed. Option to add on here, adding a twist, keeping the right hand down, left arm sweeps out and starts to come overhead as you open the chest. Revolved pyramid, or revolved half moon. Release the left hand back down. Bring both feet together and fold. Bend the knees, chair pose, arms sweep up. Squeeze the knees towards one another. Feel that engagement in the low belly. And then we'll come all the way up. Release, arms rain down. Tadasana. Bring the hands to heart center. Gentle bow through the chin, feeling the air reach the fingertips. Switch the weight into your right foot. See yourself balancing on that right leg, and then lift the left knee. Head stays over heart, heart stays over hips, so make sure you're not leaning back here. Now let go of that knee, so there's this hovering action, so you start to transition. Sending it back, hands come down to blocks. Warrior three, stepping all the way back into your lunge pose. Inhale, arms reach up. Take a big stretch here, and then exhale, release. Hands come back down to those blocks. Pyramid pose, hop the left foot forward, grounding both feet. So most of the time, or a lot of times I see people trying to be like on a tightrope here. Give a little space between your feet. Let them be at least as wide as your hips, right? So you don't need to be trying to balance on a little rope here. Long spine, finding square hips, engaging the quads, and then folding down. Try to balance the weight in both of your feet. Another thing that happens here is a lot of people tend to push a lot of the weight into the front foot. See if you can draw the hips back and bring a little more weight into that left heel. There's a lot going on here. Take the time to really pay attention, to let go in the areas that don't need to hold. Becoming aware of how the blocks are supporting you if you're using them. And then bend your front knee. Take your blocks with you, about a foot in front of your toes. Warrior three again as you lift that back heel. long spine. Feel that engagement on the inner thighs, outer hip. And then if you're adding on that twist, right arm starts to come out, the chest spirals open. Evolved half moon. Can you open your chest? Let the shaking be there. You can do it anyways. Good. Bring it back down. Both feet come together at the front of the mat. Take a fold here. You can move your blocks out to the side. Bring the hands to the mat, bend the knees, step back to plank pose. Take a moment here to just stretch it out. And then lower down to your belly any way you'd like. You could roll it down, chaturanga, whatever you'd like. Bring the hands under the forehead and crocodile. But this time, flip the palms up, interlace the fingers, and bring them onto the forehead. Now lift your head and elbows and shoulders off the mat, pointing the legs, engaging the glutes, keeping the legs grounded. All 10 toes are on the mat. Lower back down, rest. You can rock the hips a little side to side. Soften your jaw. Pause the movement. We're going to do that again. Engage the legs. Start to lift head, elbows, shoulders, chest. And it only is a few inches. It doesn't have to be a huge movement here. I know you're feeling that. Good. Release. Turn your right cheek to the mat. Take your arms out to a T. Bend both of your knees and windshield wiper the legs side to side. Come into the center. Keep your left knee bent, but bring the right leg back down. Left knee bent. Now, lift your left thigh and step up and over your right leg. So you're coming off to the right side of your mat, kind of like a scorpion tail. Imagine those left toes are like a scorpion tail. And you're lifting up and over, tapping the ground. And then come back down and switch sides. Turn the other cheek to the mat. Lift your right foot. Lift your right thigh. And then tap the toes on the other side of your mat, left side of your mat. Come back around and do that a few more times. Turn the cheek on the mat, bend your left knee, toes tap up and over, and come back and switch. And maybe if you don't touch the ground, that's okay. You go as far as what works for you. And when you've done an even amount both ways, come back to center. Crocodile pose. Let it go. Let your feet relax. Bring the hands under the shoulders. Press up through a tabletop. And then take your time sitting back into a child's pose. Really take your time here. And this time I encourage you to bring the hands under the head or bring the hands around the back. You can hold on to the heels or rest the hands over the sacrum. Slow it down. Let your body start to integrate. And bring your hands under the shoulders and gently come up to a seat. Rest your hands on your thighs as you pause in hero's pose. Really grounding throughout your practice today, every time that you rest the hands, every time that you bring the tip of your tongue to the top of your mouth and smooth out your breath, dropping out of the head and into the body. And swing your legs out in front of you. Bend your right knee in towards the chest. Option to step it over top of the left thigh. And then hug onto that right knee, sit up nice and tall, and find a twist. So this could be good enough, just hugging onto the knee. Maybe you bring the right hand behind you, elbow to the outside of the knee if it's available. The gaze might be able to turn back, but none of that by cranking, right? So you just go, you can challenge yourself, but don't force. Know where that edge is for you. Start to understand what's happening to your nervous system by paying attention to how your breath responds, right? If your breath starts to get short, if you lose your breath, you've probably gone a little too far. And release, and just simply switch sides. You can do that on your own. Long spine, breathing in, and exhaling to twist. Your extended leg is just a little engaged here, keeping those toes pointed up. You might find your hands want to come into a mudra, maybe connecting the thumb to one of your fingers, helping the energy flow in a specific way through your body. And you can trust that energy. We've already got our energy moving and flowing, so you can trust where you're being guided. And then release. Bring both feet to the mat, hands behind you, and windshield wiper your knees again, keeping a little lift in the heart. And come through center, extend the legs, and roll all the way down to your mat. Take a full body stretch as your spine hits the mat, arms extend. Draw the knees in towards your chest. Hold on to the kneecaps and trace big circles with the knees, moving the knees away from one another. Switch the direction. Now keep the knees together and draw a circle. Rolling over the hips and the lower back. Switch the direction. Okay, now hug the knees in towards your chest. You can still hold on to the kneecaps here. And a lot of times we just rock side to side. We're going to rock a little further. So rock until you roll all the way over to your right. And then you can split the knees to help bring yourself back to center and roll to the left. Do that a couple of times, rolling all the way over to the side. And then when you've balanced it out, come back through center. Reach for your feet, drawing the heels towards the pelvis, knees wide, reclined cobbler's pose. And then turning that into a happy baby as you lift your feet, knees come towards the armpits. Option to find movement or pause in the stillness. Release your feet down to the mat. And we're just going to find one bridge pose here to open through the front of the hips, hands by your sides, heels close to your backside. Press into your feet evenly. Slowly let the hips rise. Roll onto the outer edges of the shoulders. And take your next 5 breaths, bringing attention to the belly. Breathing in, breathing out. Grounded feet, keeping the knees in line with the hips. And then lower everything down. Send your legs down the mat and come into Shavasana. Get out any last fidgets here. Maybe you want to shake the legs or bring a prop underneath of the knees or the head. Take a few deep breaths to settle into this final posture. And before we come into silence, I'm going to guide us through just a few breaths together with a retention. So breathing in, what we'll do is we'll breathe in through the nose. We're going to try to hold the breath in for a count of 7 and then breathe out through the mouth. Let's begin. Inhale through the nose, nice full breath. Hold the breath in. Out through the mouth. Breathe in through the nose. Hold it in. Out through the mouth. Let's do that one more time. Breathe in into the belly. Hold it in. And let it go. Come into natural breath in and out through the nose. Feeling your body get heavier into the mat. Imagine you have sandbags in each hand, anchoring the backs of the hands. Imagine you get a little gentle press on your shoulders, grounding the shoulder blades. Open through the collarbones and the chest. Relaxing all of the skin and muscles of the face. Letting the lips part, the tongue relax. Becoming aware of the gentle movement of your belly. Heavy hips. Relaxed knees. Relaxed feet. Relaxed toes. With a steady stream of life force, of energy, of breath, moving in and out of every single cell of your being. You are more than welcome to stay here for longer this evening. Taking a few more breaths for yourself to integrate, to enjoy, to just soak up the energy of this practice. And then when you are ready to move off your mat, gently, gently deepen your breath. Become aware of the space that you're in, of your body lying on the mat in the space that you're in. Bringing in a little movement. And then bending the knees, rolling over to your right side, and gently pressing up into a cross-legged seat where you'll seal in your practice and offer your gratitude. You can rest your thumbs at the center of the heart, a little bow through the chin, a moment to cultivate that gratitude. And to just say thank you to yourself, right? First and foremost, thank you to yourself, to your body. And then taking a little bow here, a humble gesture to one another and to this practice as a whole. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Namaste. It's a pleasure to be back with you here this evening. Thank you guys for joining me and tending to yourselves. I hope you have a really wonderful rest of your evening.